In the treasury of wisdom left behind by Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him, every sentence shines like a star in the night sky. His words carry the weight of truth, his reflections are filled with timeless lessons, and his expressions touch the deepest parts of the human soul. One of the most profound questions ever posed to him was this: "O Ali, do you have any regret?" It is remarkable that a man of such unparalleled bravery, unmatched knowledge, and complete devotion to God was asked about regret. Imam Ali, who had faced the greatest challenges of life, who had lived with courage, justice, and loyalty to the message of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, was asked about a feeling so human and so personal. His response was not a complaint, not a worldly sorrow, not a moment of weakness, but an insight that penetrates through the ages. He said, "As much as generosity I had, people did not ask from me, and as much knowledge I possessed, people did not inquire about it." This short statement is a window into the heart of a man who gave everything he had, who never withheld wealth from the needy, nor knowledge from the seeker, but whose sorrow was that the world did not benefit from the treasures he carried. When we reflect upon this, we realize that Imam Ali's regret was not for himself. It was not about missed opportunities in worldly gains or personal ambitions. His regret was selfless, a lament for humanity. He regretted that people did not take from him what could have transformed their lives. He regretted that his open hands of generosity were not always met with hands asking for help. He regretted that his ocean of knowledge was not approached by as many seekers as it deserved. His regret was that people deprived themselves of the richness that God had placed in him as a gift to the world. Think about generosity first. Imam Ali was known as the Lion of God, a warrior in the battlefield, but at the same time he was known as the most tender-hearted toward the poor, the orphan, and the stranger. He would fast himself while giving away his food to those in need. He would labor in the fields, dig wells, plant gardens, and then give them away in charity. Yet, in his words, people did not always ask. How many times do we ourselves fail to ask? Sometimes pride stops us, sometimes ignorance blinds us, sometimes arrogance prevents us. We think we are sufficient, we think we do not need the help of others, and in doing so, we deprive ourselves of blessings. Imam Ali was regretful not because people asking would have raised his status, but because their asking would have saved them, enriched them, and given them ease. A generous person is like rain. The more you open your hands to it, the more you will be nourished. But if you close your hands and refuse, the rain still falls, but you gain nothing. Imam Ali was that rain of generosity, and humanity's loss was that not enough people came forward to receive it. Then think about knowledge. Imam Ali said that as much knowledge as he had, people did not ask him. Here lies the deepest wound in his heart. He was the gate of the city of knowledge, as the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, said, "I am the city of knowledge, and Ali is its gate." To enter the city, one must go through the gate. The Prophet himself described Imam Ali as the path to understanding, the torch that lights the way, and the one most capable of interpreting the Quran and Sunnah. And yet, people did not always turn to him. Instead, they turned elsewhere. They bypassed the very fountain of wisdom and sought water in shallow streams. This was the tragedy that Imam Ali felt. His regret was not that his knowledge went unused for his own benefit, but that humanity lost the chance to drink deeply from the spring of truth. Now imagine the depth of this statement. We live in a world where people chase after knowledge constantly. Libraries are filled, schools are built, universities are honored, yet how often do people ignore the sources of divine wisdom? How often do people prefer superficial knowledge over eternal truths? Imam Ali's regret is still alive today, because we too often neglect to ask the right questions from the right sources. We chase after answers from those who cannot guide us, while the words of Imam Ali, filled with divine wisdom, remain unread and unpondered. He opened his doors wide, but humanity walked past without knocking. His regret was a wound not for himself, but for those who missed the opportunity. Let us pause and think. What would it mean to ask Imam Ali? What would it mean to sit before him, to ask him about life, about the soul, about God, about justice, about patience, about courage? His knowledge was not limited to the sciences of religion. He was a master of philosophy, governance, warfare, ethics, law, mathematics, and more. His sermons in Najul Balagh are filled with insights about the nature of creation, the purpose of existence, the responsibilities of leaders, the rights of the oppressed, the struggles of the self, and the attributes of God. To not ask him is like standing before a treasure chest filled with jewels and walking away empty-handed. To not ask him is like watching the sun rise but closing your eyes to the light. To not ask him is to deny oneself the very keys to understanding. And yet, how often does this happen in our lives? How often do we stand before wisdom but do not inquire? How often do we encounter a generous person but do not seek help? How often do we pass by opportunities for growth but remain stagnant? Imam Ali's regret is a mirror for us. It is not just about the people of his time, but about every generation that comes after. His words remind us that wisdom unasked remains hidden, generosity unrequested remains unused, and opportunities ignored become lifelong regrets. There is also a spiritual dimension here. Imam Ali was not just a man of generosity and knowledge, he was the representative of divine guidance. To not ask him was to distance oneself from the path to God. He was the rope of Allah stretched on earth, the one whose obedience was linked with obedience to the Prophet, whose love was linked with faith itself. His regret shows us that those who did not approach him missed not only worldly knowledge but also the keys to eternal salvation. When a man who was the gate to divine truth says, "People did not ask me," it is not his personal sadness but a warning to us. Do not repeat this mistake. His words also teach us the importance of humility. To ask requires humility. To seek requires admitting that one does not know, that one needs help, that one is dependent on others. Pride prevents people from asking. Arrogance closes the door of inquiry. Many in his time were too proud to admit that Imam Ali knew more than them. They were too arrogant to bow before his wisdom. Their egos prevented them from receiving his light. And in that arrogance, they deprived themselves. Imam Ali's regret is that pride cost humanity the treasures of truth. And this lesson is eternal. Even today, when we think we know enough, when we refuse to ask, when we deny the guidance of those who know more, we commit the same mistake. Reflect also on the beauty of his expression. He did not say, "I regret not having wealth," or "I regret not winning more battles," or "I regret the hardships of life." His regret was entirely selfless. His regret was for others, not for himself. He was like a teacher who stands in front of students, eager to teach, but the students do not ask questions. And so they leave ignorant. He was like a doctor holding the cure, but the patients do not come, and so they remain ill. He was like a river flowing with pure water, but the thirsty do not approach, and so they die of thirst. His sorrow was not for lack of giving, but for lack of people receiving. What nobler regret can there be? Let us think about our own lives. How many times do we regret not asking questions? How many times do we regret not seeking help? How many times do we regret opportunities we missed, doors we did not knock upon, wisdom we did not explore? Imam Ali's words remind us that regrets are often born not from what we did, but from what we failed to do. Not from mistakes of action, but from mistakes of inaction. The greatest losses in life are often from chances we did not take, truths we did not seek, and gifts we did not accept. His regret becomes a universal reminder. Do not let pride, laziness, or ignorance stop you from asking, seeking, and growing. In conclusion, the statement of Imam Ali is more than an answer to a question. It is a philosophy of life. It teaches us that generosity exists, but it must be sought. Knowledge exists, but it must be asked for. Wisdom exists, but it must be approached. The world is full of treasures, but they are for those who seek them. Imam Ali opened his heart, his hand, and his mind, but humanity did not always take from him what was available. His regret was not for himself, but for those who deprived themselves. And in that regret, we see a reflection of our own shortcomings. Let us not repeat that mistake. Let us be seekers of generosity, seekers of wisdom, seekers of truth. Let us ask, let us learn, let us benefit. For the greatest regret in life is not what we did wrong, but what we failed to take when it was offered. Imam Ali's words remain alive, his generosity remains in his legacy, his knowledge remains in his sermons and teachings. The question is, will we ask, or will we remain silent? Will we drink from the fountain, or will we walk away thirsty? His regret is a warning, his words are a guide, and his wisdom is a treasure waiting to be sought.